Today we're building bridges. Sorry? What? Oh, not metaphorical bridges. Sorry, actual bridges for a ukulele. It's cute though, isn't it? Nice. In a previous episode, we made this bridge, this nice crown shape thing, and sanded off the base so that it fits that radius of the archtop really nicely. So what we're going to do today is cut out that slot in the middle for the bone bit to fit in, for the actually going to be the bridge, and thinking about the piezo pickup on there with the wiring that's going to go through. So I've measured out with the piezo going underneath the bone bit like that. If I cut down here 5mm, that should give me enough play that I can then sand the bone bit down to get the action right later on. So now I've got to cut this section out. Now what I'm going to do is use a drill to just go down and take out sections on there, because I haven't actually got a chisel thin enough to go all the way through there. But what I am going to do, can you see I've cut edges and I've also put a centre line, a little knife mark all the way down the centre point there, look. Well, the reason I've done that is I'm now just going to go in with the chisel and create a little V gouge from one side and then from t'other, and then that way the drill will definitely fit in the middle of there. It's not going to wander off and start drilling into the bits that I don't want it to. There we go. And then because this is pre-shaped and that is then angled, if I just sit that flat on there, the drill's going to go down wonky. So it just turns out that the width of that ruler flattens this top off nicely, so the drill's going to go down perpendicular. Well, it worked to an extent. So now to neaten the edges off, which was always going to be needed, so that's where we can just go straight down. Okay, so these edges here, these real tight corners on both sides, really tricky to get into, and I don't have a chisel thin enough. Even this one that I've adapted previously is just too big. So here's a low down dirty trick using a nail. Simply grind it flat on one edge, something like that, and then grind a slightly more chisel like edge on the tip. It's not going to last forever, but it might just do the job for now. Like a charm. So now we just need to drill a hole all the way through this corner here, so that then when that fits in properly the right way around, that cable will poke out the bottom. So there we go. The piezo fits through there, the cable goes through the hole, and the nut slots in there quite nicely. Ta-da! Now, as different as this bridge is, it's still quite bulky, isn't it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and see if I can file away from this top height down towards the bottom in a sloping fashion. Oil that before putting the piezo inside. So the next thing to make is the string holder that's going to go at this end. Just exactly the same as on my Archtop guitar, where we have this petal shaped item. We're going to do a similar thing through here using again a big block of maple. Simple as that, really. Now obviously we say simple as that, but there's a few things to think about. So one is just sketching out the actual thing that you want. So I'm going to go up towards the edge. It's going to look something like that. Now what I'm going to do is now cut that off straight so I can hold that up in the drill to drill in straight for the holes for the strings. So making sure we cut straight across, then we know our string holes will be straight and parallel into the thing like that. It's not going to go off all wonky. Just like that. Now we can string straight, but that's too thick before we actually put the string holes in as well, so I need to thin that down like that, leaving us with that section. There's my 4 string holes marked off. I'm going to brad all them to make sure the drill bit doesn't wander, especially when you're drilling into end grain. Really easy for the drill bit to wander. So try and make sure you give it an easy start. And with the holes drilled, we can now cut out the shape on the outside. So I'm going to have a slightly different design to the Archtop. The strings on the Archtop are hidden underneath. They go through holes in a little slot that I carved underneath. So all you see on the top is that and the strings poking out. Looks very elegant. The problem with ukulele strings is they don't have ends on them, so you actually need to wrap them round something and tie them off. So I'm going to change the design on this one a little bit and put a hole in the middle so that strings go through and then wrap around and tie off. So something like this. I'm going to get rid of this section here, and then this kind of V-shaped area will slope down into the hole, and then all the rest of it can just be rounded off and made to look very pretty. So I'm quite happy with the shape of that little kind of divot in there, being slightly off center as well, so it slopes down more over this side than up here. Yeah, I quite like that. That's really rather nice. It needs a lot of sanding, obviously. The other thing we need to do is put a hole through the middle of there so we can actually attach it to the ukulele. And we're going to attach it with one of these. So we drill a little hole to put the threaded section into the body, and then this can go through and clamp the other bit down. There we go, how lovely. Now, some of you may be wondering why I made this with rasps and files and the bridge with the power finger sander. The simple answer is, because I wanted to. That's all it is. Pick up whatever tool you fancy and make it work for you. Doesn't matter really, as long as it gets the job done. And another scary bit of drilling a hole in the front of the ukulele. Now then, some drill bits are just really sharp and nasty, so if you go in backwards, it can cut a nicer hole to begin with. You get less tear out, and then go in. Okay, big freak out moment, but not as bad as one might first think. Yes, the drill bit slipped, which created a tiny little crack up here, but that pushed down some super thin super glue, fixes that. And yeah, the hole ended up being a bit rough, so again, just push some dust down, thin super glue. That is now set absolutely solid. A bit of sanding will sort that out. And one of the good things about super glue is it just makes the wood look wet, which is exactly what Danish oil is going to do when I put it on as well anyway. So it's actually not as big a deal as one first thought or mildly panicked about. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Well, I think that looks rather special, doesn't it? Well, really all there is to do now is put it all together and glue it up. Again, just as scary as all the other parts that have been. While I carefully do that, you watch this video because you'll love it, and I'll see you very, very soon. Take care. A good night.